So I just want to talk about privacy notices and what they say. There's so much stuff in a privacy notice on a vehicle that is unbelievable. And I think a lot of people never read them. Like most people don't read them. We just know that. And what I'm looking at now is the privacy notice for Toyota. And I'm not trying to disparage Toyota, not trying to pick on them per se. The only reason why I'm picking them out of other manufacturers is because when I get in their vehicle, I can't use the navigation unless I download an app and put it on my cell phone. And then click next, and agree to all the different privacy compromises, basically. So they're holding back features, basically, unless you agree to all these terms. And you don't read the terms, you just hit next because you want to use the navigation. So that's why I'm using them as an example because of that fact right there. And so let's just go through. There's a couple things. This isn't exhaustive. This is just me looking through and trying to find some stuff that I would personally be interested in. And, I'm going to have a link to their privacy notice. You can read it for yourself, but just be aware that the privacy notice has like this infinite linking to other privacy notices depending on what it is. So like there's the connected services has its own separate, privacy notice. And it just kind of branches out. There's so many different branches from the original one that it's really hard to get to the end of all of them. It's like this infinitely divisible privacy notice, basically. So the main thing is that Toyota admits that they share personal information with other parties, including affiliated companies and dealers for their own marketing purposes. So in other words, they're basically going to take your information and just give it to anybody else for whatever purpose they decide. So this is a broad sharing practice, and it could lead to significant privacy concerns as it potentially exposes personal data to multiple entities without direct user control over each entity's use of that data. So once they give it to somebody else, they can do whatever they want, and they don't have any control. You don't have any control. You can opt out of the Toyota user agreement somehow. Like you go in there and you can opt out to a bunch of things. But once the data is handed over, it's done, And I'm going to get into that a little bit later on why that's such a big issue. They just keep taking this information and just pushing it out, storing it. And, okay, so we'll get into that a little bit more detail. So if you buy a Toyota, your contact details might be shared with other businesses that partner with Toyota. This could lead to you receiving unsolicited emails, phone calls, and mail from these companies, which could be annoying and might feel invasive. And that's just the beginning of it, and we'll get into it. All right, so connected services, data collection. This is very interesting. Connected services is, what I was just talking about with the navigation. You have to basically, in order to use certain features, you have to have an application on your phone and agree to a bunch of things, and then it starts collecting data, basically. So there's a huge amount of information that it sends to Toyota, and then if Toyota basically sells it or gives it or whatever, it starts getting distributed from that point on. Driving behavior and vehicle health data. Okay, so driving behavior, how fast you hit the brake or the accelerator, how fast you're going, those type of things. Where the vehicle's at, like the location. Okay, so this type of data collection can be particularly sensitive because it can reveal detailed insights about individuals' locations, habits, and behaviors. The data collected by a Toyota Connected Services can include where and how fast you drive. This information could potentially be used to influence decisions on things like warranty claims or insurance premiums, particularly if it suggests aggressive driving behaviors. And now we've seen that with somebody who had an OnStar. It was in the news, so I just happened to see it, where somebody had OnStar with their Chevrolet, and next thing you know, their insurance went up. Not because they got a ticket, not because they got a in an accident or anything like that. It's just this information was collected through the telemetry in the vehicle, and it was just sent out, and they sold it to the insurance companies. The insurance companies say, "Hey, this person's driving. Looks like they're driving kind of erratically. Let's go ahead and increase their insurance premium." So that's interesting. Now, they use cookies and tracking technologies. Now, a lot of websites do that, okay? Now, they reveal this in the privacy notice, and it's pretty standard. But just so you know what a cookie is and a tracking technology is, Toyota tracks how you use their sites through cookies and similar technologies, potentially monitoring your browsing habits on and off their platforms. This means ads for Toyota might follow you around the internet, even on unrelated sites, which can feel like a violation of your private online activities. Now, you notice I have some prepared statements here because I want to make sure I get the wording right. So yeah, they kind of follow you around the internet. The cookie doesn't just it's just not like for that particular website. It's broader than that, and that's not exclusive to Toyota. This is like a known thing for a long period of time. But I just want to mention that that's an additional thing that's going on. Targeted advertising and behavioral profiling. So Toyota and its partners target advertisements based on personal data inferred from users' platforms, visits, and other web activities. This kind of behavioral profiling and targeting advertising can be intrusive, particularly when it involves building detailed profiles of users' interests and behaviors. Yeah, they're basically taking your information and running it through AI systems and trying to find out more about you based on your behavior. So just storing basic information over time can lead to a huge insight into who you are and what you do and stuff like that. So based on your online behavior, Toyota might Toyota might infer that you are considering buying a new car and begin showing you ads for new models. While sometimes helpful, this can also lead to feeling like you're being spied on, as advertisements for Toyotas or related services seem to pop up everywhere you go online. So it's similar to the person who says, they mentioned a product near their cell phone, and then all of a sudden they started seeing advertisements for that. Okay. It's like that, where basically you are being spied on in different ways, not through your vehicle, through your phone, through different ways. So this is just giving them permission, like if when you accept the privacy notice, you're just giving permission to spy on you, basically. Okay, so international data transfers. So they're going to send it to China or wherever other country they want, basically. Another thing is, let's say you're outside the United States and your personal data is transferred and processed in the United States. And let's say you're in a country like a European country that has really strict laws. Well, once your data is now in the United States, it can be handled with U.S. laws, which is less stringent, right? So even if you're in the United States and it's sending it out to foreign countries, also if you're outside of the country and then it's bringing it to the United States to process it here, where there's less strict laws on the process of the personal data, basically. Broad rights to disclose information. Okay, so the privacy notice states that personal information may be disclosed under various conditions, including legal requests, corporate transactions, and emergencies. The broad nature of these terms gives Toyota wide discretion over when and how users' personal information can be shared. So an example, in the case of a legal request or emergency, Toyota can disclose your personal information as they see fit. This means in certain situations, your information might be shared with government bodies or other entities without your explicit permission, potentially exposing you to unwanted scrutiny or legal implications. So let's say you happen to be driving by and then there is a crime that happens right when you drive by, or you're in an area in which a crime happens. They have no other leads. Well, your car was close to the crime scene when it happened. Maybe they knock on your door. something like that. I don't know. It's something to be looked into, apparently. So also the retention and access to your data. So when they take the data, they hold on to it, basically. So a quote from the privacy notice here: "We will retain your information," this is a quote, "including geolocation data, for as long as your account is active or as needed to provide you services." Okay, so they're going to basically hold on to it for a long period of time. Let's say you have the car for 20 years or longer or whatever. Then they could be stored for years. It could increase your risk of being exposed through data breaches. So they're holding on to all this information. And we'll actually go through some of the information that they hold. It's like a whole long list. And I'm saving that for the end because you just get bored of hearing me list it all out. So any kind of data breach or leaks while they're holding the information, which could be years and decades or whatever, they just basically handed all that information to somebody who's illegally hacking. So they're already selling it. They're already giving it away to whoever they want, and they're selling it to whoever they want anyway, in foreign countries or whatever. But this is basically somebody getting it without paying for it. Basically, is the data breach. Okay, so collection of sensitive information. So the notice mentions the collection of sensitive information such as geolocation, like where you are, and also possible financial data. If such sensitive data were improperly accessed due to a security breach, it could lead to identity theft and financial fraud. So yeah, like any information you're sharing with them, whether you're applying for a loan or whatever, then you all that information, social security number, all that stuff is going to be in there and saved on their servers, and they're going to basically sell it. Let's say you got a good credit score, and you're like, hey, this guy can afford to buy more stuff. Hey, they sell it to the advertisers, let people know, hey, this guy's got good credit. Go ahead and advertise to them, that kind of stuff. All right, so behavior analysis and decision making. This is interesting. So Toyota collects data about your interactions with their services, which could be used to make automated decisions about you. In other words, using AI. For instance, if data suggests you are a high-risk driver, you might find your warranty claims denied or your insurance premium increased without direct human oversight. So basically, AI will decide in certain scenarios these things. So yeah, to negatively affect you based on the data that you're giving them. So yeah, and using AI to do it. Okay, third-party data sharing. And so Toyota shares information with a broad range of third parties, including advertisers and marketers. This could result in your data being passed to entities that you've never directly interacted with. Who may use it for purposes that you did not intend, like aggressive marketing or even resale to other marketers. So they're going to buy it, they're going to resell it, they're going to buy it from them, then resell it, and then infinitely everybody's going to get it on Earth, apparently. Okay, so it does have places where you can opt out on the website, and I'm going to have a link there, and you can look at it and see, if you want to go through all that work to do that. Now, it does have... Okay, so while your notice provides some information on how you can manage your privacy settings, there may be limited options for completely opting out of certain data collections, especially related to online tracking and vehicle data transmission. This can leave you with little control over how much your data can be used. Like specifically, it says that basically they do not respond to do not track signals. So like if you have a browser on your web browser and you tell the web browser to tell websites not to track you, well, they just don't even pay attention to that. They just track you anyway. Okay, so the use of data for research. Personal data collected by Toyota might be used for research purposes, which could involve analyzing your behavior, preferences, and other personal attributes. While beneficial for product development, This could raise some concerns about profiling and potential misuse of personal insights. So yeah, um, so yeah, they're just going to basically use the term research to, you know, gain your information and use it in a way that benefits them, and whether you like it or not, basically. And also, of course, take that information, do the research, and then sell that research with your data and all that stuff to other places. And I'm going to go into some other potential things because this is what's going on now. There's some potential things that all this stuff is going to change, basically. But the data has already been transferred, you know? So, okay, so let's moving on. Let's go ahead and go into that. So as the technology advances with the AI systems and all that stuff, and they're becoming more sophisticated, there's potential harms that could arise. So the potential harm would be increased surveillance and profiling. As AI capabilities grow, companies might be able to create highly detailed profiles for individuals based on their driving habits, location data, interaction with the services. This could lead to a form of surveillance where aspects of personal life that they consider private, such as their daily routines and places they frequently visit, are continuously monitored and analyzed. This is something that, you may think is not a big deal now, but once they gather all this information and know your routines and your life, and just knowing where you're at, and they do that a lot with your cell phone. Okay, but this is another yet another company that's going to collect this data. So basically, when you do the connected services with your cell phone, it's getting information off your cell phone in your car. There's like combination there. Okay, so automated decisions and with significant impact. So you can have AI systems could be used to make automated decisions about individuals, such as eligibility for insurance rates, loan approvals, or even job suitability, based on their behavior patterns deduced from vehicle data. These decisions could be made without human oversight, and it could be difficult to appeal or correct if based on inaccurate AI analysis. So, like, if they think you're a crazy driver based on the information that's coming from your vehicle, and like even job suitability, loan approvals, these are things that could potential. This is future potential. This is not in the agreement that we're talking about, the Toyota agreement. This is like once your data is in general sent out to all these different people and all these different for whatever reason they want, they're just give it to whoever they want, and you're giving permission to that, then they can use this information to gain a lot of insight into who you are, what you do, and how they can, there's all kinds of stuff they could do with it. Okay, so of course, data security risks. The more information is collected, analyzed by the AI, then you have a data breach, and then they have all this information on you. Now the data breach is out on the internet somewhere on the dark web, and everybody can access it, all the criminals and stuff. So sensitive information could be exposed if security measures do not keep pace with advancements in AI and data processing technologies. This could lead to identity theft, financial fraud, and unauthorized tracking of individuals. So basically the hackers are now tracking you in addition to all the companies and Toyota. So manipulation and behavioral influence is another potential thing in the future could happen. AI-driven marketing could evolve to not just target consumers but more effectively, but also manipulate their behaviors and choices subtly. For example, AI could use data to determine the most effective ways to influence a person's car buying decisions, or to push them towards a certain service at the moment of vulnerability, So, they can tell if your vehicle's broke down or something like that. or they could probably tell if your car's having a problem and before you even know about it. And then there's so many different things that they could do with information. The more information is conveyed to other people, then they are using it. Like, it's very valuable. All right. Another thing is, a lot of this stuff is supposed to be anonymous, like some stuff they're using for research and stuff, they're supposed to anonymize the data before they send it to somebody else. Well, this is something here that's interesting. Loss of anonymity. So with AI ability to analyze vast data sets, anonymization could become less effective, allowing individuals to be identified even when data is supposed to be anonymized. This could lead to a loss of privacy even when consumers believe their data is protected. So yeah, the AI systems will be able to get information and tell a lot about you, match the person to the behavior, basically. So yeah, I think it's important to be proactive and understand the privacy policies and the things that you're hitting accept on and the things that you're hitting agree to, and you understand what you're doing when you do that. And sometimes it's like you got to move on with your life, so it's like, but just look at when you're shopping. If the vehicle is holding back, so like say, if you want a vehicle that just has navigation, you don't have to opt in all this stuff, then you could buy a vehicle that has it. That you don't have to go through and have this application on your phone and then agree to all this stuff. It's something to definitely consider if you don't want that. Okay, so the list of type of information mentioned in the notice. Okay, so this is what I've listed out here. Name, mailing address, email address, phone number, demographic information, zip code and age, online identifiers, user IDs, social media IDs, vehicle ownership records, retail delivery report records, recall records, warranty records, repair order records, part order records, Toyota Insurance Management Solution insurance product records, incentive offers accepted by the consumer. So that tells what motivates you, what you're incentivized with. Interactions via telephone, email, chat, text, and postal mail, all that's going to be put in the data set. Customer testimonial, so if you make a testimonial. Information where's the testimonial? Maybe you put it on a website somewhere. Maybe you put it on a review somewhere. Maybe you made a YouTube video. Information collected from participation in sweepstakes, contests, games, events, promotions, blogs, chats, and surveys. Call center records, audio and or video recordings of interactions. Browsing history in Toyota's platforms. Real-time behavior data from session replay tools. Information, I don't really understand what that is. Replay tools, that's what it says. Information collected from cookies, obviously. IP addresses. Publicly available social media information. So if you got any social media, they have AI systems going to go around, potentially, gather up as much information about you, put it in the data set. This could be for the research. This could be for whatever reason they want. And then they take all that stuff, put it together, analyze it with AI systems, sell it out or give it out or whatever. They start distributing it, basically. So pre- and post-sale marketing interactions, information collected at events, vehicle purchase negotiation information, vehicle service marketing information, direct marketing information, retention marketing information, credit card numbers, payment platform numbers, response to surveys, participation in focus groups. Most people don't do that, but some people do. Information related to legal claims, disputes, and reimbursements. Information related to recalls. Business contact information, this is for businesses, such as name, title, company, address, email, and phone number, just like a regular person, I suppose. Precise geolocation data. Precise geolocation data, like precisely where you are. Are you at the grocery store, or are you at the liquor store right next door to the grocery store? That kind of stuff. Account login information, driver's license numbers, financial information. That's a broad one, financial information. So, credit score, social security number, how much money you have in the bank, I don't know. Financial information, that's what it says. Usage information automatically collected. So any kind of, it's pretty broad. Browser type, device type, operating system, application version, page served in time, preceding page views, use of features or applications on the platforms. Okay, so yeah, it goes on. There's so much stuff in a privacy notice that it is crazy, and it's really, some of it's up to interpretation. Like how broad is it? How much is actually really being limited? Because by the time you read it, it's like, well, they're just basically can do whatever they want. Almost, it's like, where's the limit? It's not like they're describing limits; they're describing what they're going to do, and also they're going to change the privacy notice whenever they want, and they'll just send you a notice. Hey, we changed it, by the way. So it's not like you have an agreement in which you both have to sit down and sign an agreement to move forward. No, they just you agree today, but tomorrow they'll change it to whatever they want, and they'll just make you aware of it, whether it be an email. They might send in the mail, that kind of thing, or not, or just might be a little notification on your phone. So yeah, it's a it's a potential problem now, but the problem can just compound over time in the future, and that's why I'm kind of bringing it up, because it's been a thing for a long time. Privacy concerns been a problem, but people don't really focus on it too much, and I don't think with the AI capabilities that they've had, but they're just getting more and more capable, that basically, they just can tell everything about you eventually the more information they collect. So it's up to you to look at the privacy notice, interpret it for yourself, and understand it for yourself. I'm trying to understand it for myself, so I'm not trying to, I don't really have, I'm trying to interpret it correctly, and that could be wrong, could be right. You could agree, disagree on how I'm interpreting it, but at least the discussion can be had. Anyways, thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.